Hi everyone. I forgot to say before I started yammering on in this video that when I say I have sensitive skin, that's really a personal thing, isn't it? You may have really sensitive skin and can't tolerate any of the wool that I'm talking about here. So just keep that in mind. I really can't explain what my sensitivity level is, only to say that you'll probably figure that out as you watch the video and you can see which yarns I'm tolerating or not. And is there a case for learning how to tolerate or your tolerance level? I don't know. I can't say that I'm learning to tolerate things. It may be happening and I don't even know it, but I don't think so. I don't think anything's changed. I think I'm willing to experiment and try things out, but who knows? Anyway, just wanted to add that note as you begin to watch the video. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me again. I want to share with you the yarns that I've tried, wool yarns that I've tried since I began knitting last March or April as a new knitter with sensitive skin. So what I won't be talking about, what I will skip talking about just because we'll establish in the beginning, let me lower this a little bit, is I won't be mentioning superwash yarn because for me it goes without saying that superwash yarn I haven't had any problem with at this point. I haven't made anything but a scarf that I then unraveled because I wasn't wearing it. It's just like a rectangle scarf. It was like my first knitting project. And a hat, both hats I made with superwash yarn I've given away. My daughter liked them and took them. And I think that's it. I do use plant-based yarns, but I haven't had any that are scratchy for me. So I'm not going to talk about those here. Sorry, I keep deciding whether I need to see closer or not. But I am here on my floor in my office / craft room because I have my yarn here. I have a couple other yarns on the floor that I have put away, either put away because they are scraps. I have a little scrap tote with leftover stuff like this to remind me to talk to you about those wool yarns. And then I have just 2 skeins that I have just stopped using because they were color work in a test knit. I also have my Ravelry open to just remind me so I'm not forgetting about any yarns that I don't happen to have here but I've actually used. So the way that I have my yarn totes organized is up here is finger weight yarn and sock yarn, and down here is any other weight, DK Sport, what else? I have bulky just because that was a project I did for my daughter. I also happen to have some alpaca silk lace in here too that I'm going to experiment with. I've never used it yet. So let me just take a look at this really quick to see if there's any yarns that aren't sock yarns that I can talk about. I've got my alpaca silk, but that's for another day. I want to talk about anything in here. Oh yes, there are 2 yarns that I do want to talk about here that are wool. One of them is knitting for olive. Often, because I'm a new knitter, I will buy yarn, just a skein of a certain type of yarn to test it. The reason that I bought this knitting for olive merino was it doesn't feel as smooth and soft as another merino yarn. It's got, I don't know, it just felt a little different and I wanted to try it out. So I did make a swatch. I held this double. This is the, oh my gosh, I love this color. blood orange. Oh my God, 100% extra fine merino. I held it double because that's how I would use it in a project. And isn't that glorious? It's nice and spongy. I do love the texture and feeling of this yarn held double. And it's not as soft as like Drops Daisy. It's got a little tingle to it. So I don't know what it would feel like. Like the most sensitive part of my skin is around my neck and my chest. And it's funny because I can't just carte blanche say that every merino is fine, just like I can like with superwash, because merinos come from different places and they are then different. I was not able to tolerate the knitting for olive heavy merino. I did test that out too. And then I ended up giving the rest of that ball away. So this is definitely vest material for me. I do plan on making something like a vest with knitting for olive merino just because I love it, but I don't know that I could wear it totally against my neck. It's a hot day today, so maybe today's not the right day to judge, but I do remember thinking about that when I was using it. The other skein that I bought to try out was this Sunday. I actually bought this last June when I visited Magpie Fibers for the first time, and I bought my lovely skein of, I thought I just saw it here, of Swanky Sock that I made my favorite Sophie scarf out of. This is the deep red. I fell in love with this color. I do intend on holding it double. I've actually never made a swatch. I don't think. It doesn't even look like it. And I have a skein of Double Sunday in the drawer that I didn't pull out. So I'm going to say that Double Sunday and Sunday work fine for me. These are merinos. Where does this merino come from? 100% merino wool produced in Norway by Sandnes Garn. That doesn't say where the wool is actually from, but it is made and milled in Norway. This is really, really nice. It's still not as soft as Daisy for some reason, but it's really spongy and wonderful. And believe it or not, I'm actually going to see if they have the same lot number when I go back to Magpie Fibers. This in a couple weeks we'll be in Frederick, Maryland again, because it's now silly for me to just have this skein, and I'm not sure what I'm going to ever do with it, but it'll probably be worked into some kind of project. It won't be the project itself. So maybe I'll buy another skein or so. Okay, so I should say that most of the wool that I find works fine on me is merino. No mystery there. It's got like the micron level. I don't know whether it's a high micron level or a low micron level that makes the yarn super soft, but of course merino works well. I wanted to try though to branch out from merinos. I wanted to see what I could tolerate. So I've just been on a journey like that ever since. Okay, so the rest of the stuff is really just sock yarn, so I'm gonna skip that. Not that I couldn't make things out of the sock yarn, but it's a given for me that the sock yarns that I have that are merino and superwash and that have nylon in them, they've all been fine for me. I did make a vest, and then I redid the vest and made yet another vest out of it this year with this Walcott Origins yarn. Now I don't know what kind of wool this is, but I'm gonna put it down here because I forgot to look it up before I started. But this is spongy, and you can tell it's wool. I can tell it's wool. I made a vest out of it, so I'm wearing something with a collar under this when I wear it as a vest. But I was really proud of myself that last August when I went to the Pittsburgh Fiber Festival, might be called Knit and Crochet Festival, that I picked up this yarn from Yarn Birds, and I was able to like it was okay to use in a project. So that was good for me. I was breaking out of, maybe I'm breaking out of merino, because I don't think this is merino, or it's not completely merino. So that was cool. Okay, I'm gonna put this fingering weight bin away. Let me know if you, oh, this fell. I knew it was gonna fall. I don't normally have it hanging here. I just have it hanging here for purposes of reminding me about this yarn. Let me know if you want me to do like a stash tour at some time. I did one maybe a few months ago, but I have this sweater hanging here that I attempted to do. I will try another one. This was pretty early on. This was leftover Lion Brand Fisherman's wool. I made a cardigan out of fisherman's wool. You can imagine that if you know anything about fisherman's wool, it's very rustic. I loved using it because it was like, it has lanolin in it, and it was just really wonderful on the fingers, and it was so inexpensive. They have these giant skeins of yarn when I would buy them at Joann's, and if you bought them online. So I did make this little sweater because I had some left over. I love the buttons. I made the Florence Miller step-by-step cardigan, and I made another button band because she does a double knit button band and I couldn't figure it out. That's a whole other video that I will link when I talk about that sweater. But I do want to make another step-by-step cardigan, or the cardigan pattern that I have from Tin Can Knits, in a yarn that I can tolerate, because even it's a V-neck, so it's not around your neck. I'm always wearing something under it, but it just doesn't feel good to me. So I want to make that cardigan again out of something else. Okay, I have some yarns on the floor that I'll start off with, because a lot of the yarns in this bin are merinos. So I want to focus for you on the ones that aren't merinos. On the floor here, I have some yarn that I bought from Rhinebeck. It was my first Rhinebeck that I went to last year. That's a nickname for the New York Sheep and Wool Festival in Rhinebeck, New York. And I found this very inexpensive yarn. Since I really didn't do yarn shopping there, I did a lot of looking and taking of notes, and then I ordered something after the festival because it was so overwhelming that it was just more fun for me to look instead of making decisions. But I did buy this Lamb's Pride because it was in big bins and they were like $6 a skein, so it was easy for me to buy. What I didn't really pay attention to was the fact that it's rustic. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. It's worsted weight, it's 85% wool and 15% mohair. This is really what got me to understand that I'll probably not be able to tolerate mohair. Now, I know mohairs are different. I lean towards thinking that the alpaca lace is going to be better for me because that's how it feels, but I can't really say that. I haven't used like a really nice mohair lace. I mean, I haven't tried. This is way too rustic for me on my neck and my chest. I made a hat for my son out of this, and I could tolerate this with a hat too. There's just something about wool on my forehead and my ears that I think just acts differently than my chest and my neck. However, I haven't made a hat for myself out of this, so I really can't say. And I made a sweater vest out of this color, wild oak, which I love. I made a Cadre V-neck vest, and thinking, okay, it's V-neck, I'm going to have a shirt under it. I wore it to the knitting retreat that I went on in Santa Fe, New Mexico in December, and it happened to be a really sunny, kind of warmer afternoon. One afternoon when I was walking back from Auxerre, which is the yarn and fabric shop, and I think I'd taken my coat off and I had on a blouse with the vest, and it was so prickly through the blouse with the sun beating down on it. But it wasn't prickly any other time. Like it wasn't prickly in the hotel, in the ballroom where we were during the classes. So it was fine. But yeah, that's not something I can really wear. Everything else in this bin, most everything is merino, but I want to talk about the yarns that are not. I will just, however, because I know merinos are different from each other, I am going to point out the ones that are in here that were tolerable to me. We've already talked about the Drops Daisy. Oh my God. Love this yarn so much. I did get a skein in the red, and I think I'm going to make a hat out of this. I need to get another ball. But okay. I made my Stages pullover. It's a Purl Soho pattern by Tressa Widener out of the beautiful Purl Soho Wigeon, which is a merino yarn. This is a sport weight. I love this stuff. It's sturdy. It's not too soft. I don't know what kind of merino this is, but I adore it. So I have different colors of that left over. Can't wait to figure out what I'm going to do with it. And then I have all of the colors left over from my stripes sweater. This is not merino though, which is the Knit Picks High Desert Sport. This is American wool is how they explain it. I think some of it is Rambouillet, and I don't recall what the other mix is, but if I can find it on the website, I'll put it here. They do have a video if you go to the yarn on the website, and they talk about where this wool is sourced. Now, I can feel that it's wool. I wouldn't say it's prickly, but I can just feel that it's wool. And when it's when it's cold out, and I have a like a camisole under it, it'll be just fine. I'm really happy that I tried this American wool that's not merino, because now I know that in this line, because they do have worsted and they have the sport, that I can tolerate, my skin can tolerate this. I also tried this, what is this called? Woolen cotton. It's a DK weight from Knit Picks. It's 50% merino, 50% Pima cotton. I was going to make a test knit out of this, and then I couldn't get gauge. I love this stuff. I have to find a project for it. I only have one skein because I was testing it out. I wanted to see whether I could tolerate it or not. But I love it. I love this green. I think this is called Garden Glove. Yeah, I really like it. It's a weird gauge for me though, so I don't know. It was 19 stitches in 4 inches and 28 rows using a US 4. Oh, I don't know. It was a little weird, but that's that. I don't think I have it here. I don't know where it is. Is it here? Oh yeah, here it is. I have this cotton merino, which I tested out early on in my knitting. It's 50% wool, 50% cotton. It's superwash though. Oh yeah, that's right. It's superwash, but I'll just mention it since it's a drops yarn. And I haven't bought more of this. I love it though. I would make something out of this. I loved how it's stitched up. I mean, it's superwash, so I really kind of was steering myself away from superwash, which is why I haven't made anything or bought any more. Another thing that I ordered early on is this yarn called Plain Air. It is a combination of things that I'm going to put up on the screen because I don't recall what the combination is. You can see this is a little noodly because I made a cowl out of it. I was testing how to do texture, and I did a cowl that I loved by Tressa Widener, but then like I knew I couldn't tolerate the yarn, unfortunately. So I haven't made anything out of it, but it could go into a hat for me. So that's what I'm planning at some point. Okay. Yes, let me get to some non-merino stuff because I want to read this. So I never found Green Mountain Spinnery at Rhinebeck. I looked and looked and looked and looked, and there must have been so many people in the booth that it was obscured because I was in the right building. So I went online, so I didn't get to feel their yarn, and I was very curious about them. They are a mill. It says a worker-owned cooperative in Putney, Vermont. And so I ordered 2 different types of yarn from them. They're both DK. This one is called Mewesic, M-E-W-E, Mewesic. Is that going to focus? I can't tell. 100% fine American wool. I think this is called Mr. Mustard, Mean Mr. Mustard. It's one of their popular colors. Beautiful. Do I have the, yeah, I think I have the, this is how it knits up. So cool. I really like it, but it's pretty rustic for me. But is it? I think this is one of the cases where, yeah, I think this one is too rustic for me. It doesn't mean though that it couldn't go into a hat. And I don't know if this is woolen spun, but it's so lightweight. It's so lightweight. But yeah, that might have to go into like a striped hat situation for me. I love it though. It's too bad that it doesn't work for me. And then the other one I wanted to try was this wool and cotton blend called Cotton Comfort. That sounded like it was going to work for me. It's 80% fine wool and 20% organic cotton. And again, maybe woolen spun because super lightweight. Look at those flecks. Probably of cotton. I mean, it's so lightweight. Yeah, it's 2 ounces. And for this, oh, this is 58 grams. And it's 180 yards. What was this? Yeah, so you could see how light and airy that it wound up. And here's what it looks like. Let me test this out now. Yeah. I think at the very least, if I was using another DK and maybe using this as a stripe, definitely color work, that I could tolerate this. I think this would be beautiful in a hat too, just because of the color. So we'll see. These are the 2 skeins that I was disappointed about in my testing out phase of yarn, were those 2. But I was willing to do it. That's because I didn't get to feel it at Rhinebeck, and it wasn't all that expensive to order the 50-gram skeins. So that's that. And I wanted to mention, I've just I'm almost finished with a test knit that's using Lavender Lune Organic Sport. So this is non-superwash yarn. It couldn't be softer. I'm using another color called Cameo for the body, and I'm very happy to find a non-superwash yarn that is an independent dyer that I can tolerate. I'm going to look up Lavender Lune to see if it says what type of yarn. She's in Minnesota. Yeah, a super soft non-superwash merino, nice round bouncy yarn. Okay, just wanted to double check that. So, you know, anytime I'm finding and using a non-superwash merino, especially from an independent dyer, which this was the first time I've ever used yarn in a sweater project from an independent dyer, they were giving us a discount, so that really worked out. I have lots of leftovers. I don't know why I would have bought 100-gram skeins for the color work. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm really happy, especially about this color, but also this, because I have so many leftover sport weight yarns. It's like a playground for me to, between the high desert and the leftover Purl Soho, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, and I think I had mentioned, just to complete the whole thought, that I used wool-ease for the first vest that I made, and I was able to tolerate wool-ease. Wool-ease is like, what is it? It's a high percentage of acrylic and then some wool, but still, you never know. You just never know how any of that's gonna play out. So yeah, merino is certainly the type of non-superwash yarn that I can tolerate the most. No surprise there, but there are some surprises to me of non-superwash that's a little bit less slippery or less smooth. I would say smooth is probably a better word, less smooth, that I'm able to tolerate, like this Knitting for Olive merino and the High Desert Sport. I can't say whether that's true for the worsted, but one would think. And then Walcott yarns, which I think they're only making like this one, which is the Origin and Opus. Please share with all of us any non-superwash wool or wool blends that you've tried, if you've got sensitive skin, or if you knit for people that have sensitive skin. Sensitive skin, by the way, is very subjective, right? Like everybody has different, you may have more sensitive skin than I do. That's what I've learned so far. This is part one based on my, I don't know, if I started knitting at the beginning of April, then 12, 13, 14, almost 15 months of knitting. So I will continue to build a list of yarns that I can tolerate. And the fact that I can tolerate some of them might then clue you into whether you have the same tolerance that I do. Who knows? This is what's so fun about sharing these things, because anytime I watch a video like this, especially if someone says they have sensitive skin, I learn something, and then I might try something, and it may or may not work for me. So take it for what it's worth. This is just my experience. I hope this has given you some ideas. And yeah, please share with all of us in the comments what you've discovered. I will see you soon for a regular catch-up episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll talk to you later.